Welcome back to the BSH Brief. I'm your host, Caden Friess, and today we're joined by someone who's at the heart of Ben High's business scene. She's not only the powerhouse in the classroom, but is also the driving force behind our DECA's chapter's incredible growth and success. From helping students build resumes to leading us to ICDC, she's all about the turning potential into achievement. Please welcome our amazing business teacher and DECA advisor, Miss Whitworth.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here today.
And then we have two wonderful student guests helping out today. Can you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Iris Marshall. I'm a senior here at Ben High, and I'm the president of DECA and long-time running of several business classes every year.
My name's Kyla Guerrero, and I am also a senior at Ben High and the vice president of DECA.
Nice. All right. Well, let's just jump right in. Usually I always start off with Miss Whitworth. We want to know a little bit more about you as a person, whether it's your past education, your family. Who are you, Miss Whitworth?
Like outside the classroom?
Outside the classroom. Okay. That's a great way. I should be saying that.
Outside the classroom. Okay. I'm like a true Bendite. I was born and raised here.
Amazing.
I'm a Ben High grad. Just anything about me? Education-wise?
Yeah, let's education.
Okay. Post-high school graduation, I did 2 years at COCC and actually thought at the time that I wanted to teach elementary students. So I have a degree in elementary education. And then kind of shifted gears. I also taught pre-kindergarten for 4 years, kind of while I was going to school. Then changed my degree over to like human development, just to be like a broader reach, I suppose. Be able to like open up more doors than just elementary ed. I wasn't sure that was the path I wanted to go down. So then I finished my bachelor's at OSU online while I was teaching. And then I ended up here just kind of by a freak accident, honestly.
By happenstance. And a little bit of a story out of the movies. Your husband, Parker, also from Ben High?
Yes. Yeah. We actually met in the classroom that I teach in, which is pretty funny. But yeah, we started dating in high school and are now married. That's
pretty crazy. Okay. Well, let's jump right in. This is also one of the most cohesive episodes as business teacher, DECA advisor, DECA students, business students. Like, this is very well mixed. So we're all very acclimated to each other, you could say, whatever. Let's talk about your classes a little bit, business-wise. What do you teach? What classes do you teach? What should the people know about your classes? And should they take them? I'm going to say yes, but.
Yes. Right. Off the bat, yes. We'll get into why. I mostly kind of teach 3 classes. So at an intro level, like anyone could take them. You can sign up for them at any time, is Intro to Business and Social Media Marketing. Both of those are semester-long classes and kind of follow maybe a more like traditional classroom format. So normal like content, lectures. It's definitely more like project-based than a lot of classes, I would say. They're both semester long, so we try and cram as much as we can into the time that we have. For Intro to Business, I would say it's kind of just like a mix of different aspects of all areas of business. So I think when students or anyone actually just hears like a business class, they think it's going to be solely how to run and how to start a business, which is definitely a portion of it. But I would say that would be more if we had like an entrepreneurship class. So Intro to Business is like covering things from finance. We definitely cover how to start a business, but it's a little bit broader than that. And then social media marketing is a mix of like an intro to marketing because most students haven't had any marketing exposure. So we have to kind of introduce what marketing is before we jump into social media marketing. And then after that, we kind of look at platforms and how to, use different social media platforms for different purposes. And then if you've taken either of those classes, you can take business management, 1 through, we have the option through 6. They are both semester-long classes, so you could take it every year, your sophomore through senior year. And those are really just hands-on classes. They're very project-based. They're definitely very DECA-focused, but you don't have to be in DECA to be in the class, even though I highly encourage it. But they're really hands-on project classes where you get to focus on a project that's of your interest. So if you're interested in finance, you could do a finance project. If you're interested in more like community service, you can do some sort of community service project. And then with that, we also run the stores, which is really great hands-on experience. And I think that's one of the best reasons I say for students to take the class. It's how, you get started with experience. You want experience on a resume, but you can't really get that before.
This is your opportunity.
Before that. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think we need to talk about what DECA is. Obviously. We're all part DECA advisor. So do we all just want maybe talk a little bit about DECA? Go for it, Madam President.
Yes, DECA is just an amazing way to prepare for your future, and I've learned so much being here now for 4 years. I'm one of the few seniors who's been in for 4 years of my whole high school, which is pretty amazing. I started off kind of with a new advisor, and then we've had Miss Whitworth here was joined last year. But it's just been really amazing, and I love working the stores. You probably see me there every morning at 8 a.m., just like running the cafe, running the register, selling merchandise, everything off the top of your head when you're coming to that. But I also just love presenting. I love doing a project with Kyla and raising money for a good cause or raising money for a chapter. I'm just being a part of the community and talking with people and networking and just all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, like we said before, DECA is just a great opportunity for students, and I think it's one of those super unique opportunities that really gives you real world experience, because working in the stores every morning like Iris does and working in the Java Bear, you just get to improve your communication skills, your confidence, and really see what it's like to work in a store, which ultimately everyone needs a job someday. So getting into DECA helps prepare you for that. But really just being like a co-curricular club, we get some knowledge from the classroom that we apply to the club, and DECA prepares emerging leaders and entrepreneurs in the areas of marketing, finance, hospitality and tourism, business management and administration, as well as entrepreneurship. I don't know if I said that already, but yeah, it's just super fun, and honestly, the competitions are the biggest part of it. So being able to travel to Portland every year for a state is such a great way to network with people and students who are passionate about business within the state of Oregon. But then also, once you qualify at state in the top 3 of your category, you can go to internationals. And this is where I've found the biggest passion for DECA, because I've been able to make these connections all over the world. I have friends now in Puerto Rico, in China, in states all across the country, and it's just super fun. And it's really nothing like anything else that I've done at Bend High, because of just the access to networking and being able to really pursue your passions.
Truly, I agree. And I want to give a little clarity for the school here. I know you've probably heard of DECA a lot. You've probably heard us talk about DECA a lot, and I'm sorry, but I think there's a good reason to it, and we really believe in this club, and it's an awesome club, and you should join. I know we talk about it a lot, but it is worth it. So it's amazing, and I fully agree, and I think it gives students so many real-world skills, not only cash register, customer service, world skills of a career, but also communication, talking with people, eye contact, shaking hands, showing up on time, professional dress, a lot of very powerful skills that I think are truly lacking in our generation quite a bit. You really see the difference when you go off to state internationals, and every single person you strike up a conversation with, it's powerful, they're articulate, can hold a conversation while making eye contact, and then sometimes you come back here and you're like, oh, it's actually kind of hard to have regular conversations with.
Extremely extroverted, passionate.
Yeah, that's really what it is in DECA, and I think it's such a powerful place, and the competing really gives students an opportunity to be them best selves, to compete on a stage that maybe isn't athletic, which is typically the only one that is offered in high school, and this is a different route that is still a very powerful and fulfilling one. And highly recommend DECA.
Yeah, and another, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, another great thing is that you can really pursue your passions. For example, Iris and I did a community giving project where we raised money for a compost system at a middle school. So it seems like, business, you're just handling with finances, or it seems very niche specific, but you can really pursue anything you want. There's social media marketing entertainment for athletics, and very specific things that you can follow. So everyone has a spot in DECA, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I was just kind of going to say a similar thing. I think kind of twofold. One is businesses everywhere, right? You're going to either run your own business or work for a business or encounter things with a business, whether it's you as a consumer, someone purchasing things, you as a worker. I think that the skills that you can learn from DECA are going to be valuable that way. But the biggest thing I always see every year around graduation, and personally it just drives me a little crazy, because there's so many seniors who will say I'm going to go wherever for college to study business management. I hear it so often, and they're I've never taken a business class.
Do you know what a SWOT analysis is? Can you define what
Tell
it is?
me SWOT right now.
So whether you're going to go to college or not for business, I think it sets you up for success in a lot of ways. But I see so many seniors here that are I'm going to go study business. And I'm you had the option right here to get a jump start. Yeah.
And you didn't. Oh, truly. What are some of our highlights from the DECA year this year?
I mean, internationals were really fun. I'm just a big fan of the hot weather, but it was amazing to meet new people, and we did this like crazy thing where you get to trade pins, and so every state gets these really nice enamel pins, I might say. We had a pretty cool one, which is like a Tillamook ice cream pint, and like it was a different color. So we had like strawberry and vanilla and ice and like chocolate, and we just like traded them. Like we're like, oh, Kentucky, what do you have? Oh, you have Mr. KFC. That's awesome. I want the Mr. KFC guy. But it was just really fun.
Yeah, honestly, just for this year, it's been super inspiring to see all the underclassmen that we've been able to bring in. We went from a club of 18 members last year to 80 signed up this year, and then just really got to solidify who our group of committed students is. And it's been just super fun because Iris and I have seen our DECA chapter moving from like a super small group of some committed members, but then once most of them graduated last year, it was really just us and then Caden and like Lainey and Lynn. So seeing that there's this passion for these younger kids who are going to take on DECA for the rest of the years and seeing them do really well at state, that was super inspiring just to really see kind of tangibly that our like promotion and our work to bring up DECA has been worth something, and seeing how it's impacting them, and then now seeing them becoming officers and carrying the legacy of DECA on has been really inspiring. But yes, internationals was a great experience too. And being able to take so many students to internationals as well and representing Bend is
incredible. My freshman year, great. We only had one person qualify for internationals, and so like there were a few other people went for workshops, but to have 14 members qualify for this year for internationals was crazy. And I remember standing up at state and like taking all those awards for like most increased and whatever, and like for our membership, and I was just like so proud of the officer team and so proud of our new advisor, and just like the pridefulness that like comes from like having a good marketing strategy, and like to get so many kids and like to understand your passion for such a, like an amazing program, and then to them to also like see that and acknowledge that was really emotional.
And a lot of this we have to thank for Miss Whitworth too,
of
for
course.
her coming.
Yes,
because she is the OG DECA DECA member.
Did DECA all 4 years of your high school experience?
Yeah, I did DECA all 4 years of high school. I went to internationals 3 times, so didn't quite make it freshman year. That's okay. But qualified the rest of the year. So
and you got top 25.
Yeah,
for your senior year for internationals. Like I think you guys understand how crazy that is, because like there's probably 100. Well, there's 100 to 200 people in your own event, and these people are the top of the top from their states and the world and their states and their countries, and then to place like between like the like top like 25%, if not like 10%,
it's unbelievable.
That's insane. Like that's just a huge achievement, and we're so proud.
Yeah,
thanks.
So proud of you all. That
so proud.
When we were like really young.
Yeah. But I mean that was the Bend High Food Cart project, was it not?
Yeah. So like the food truck that we have that you probably mostly associate with culinary, because they're the ones who get to make all your lovely food. That was my senior year project. It's a project that doesn't really exist anymore through DECA. They kind of change them each year, but essentially it was called like a Learn and Earn project, where you are starting up some sort of business, typically within your school. And that's what we did. So we paired with culinary and also graphic design to make this project. So a grant was written to get the funding for the food truck, and then culinary would do tasting menus. We actually had a food truck class where like culinary students and business students would be in there, and they would do like tasting menus to put on there. And then the idea was that the culinary students would kind of build out the menus and what to serve, and then we would like make the menus and the marketing and the promotion for it. And then graphic design also made the logo, if you've seen the logo. So it was really cool to have like all the different components of the school come together for like one project. Miss Daglish and I have talked quite a bit since she's been back about hoping to get it back up and running and doing some like joint work again with DECA and culinary.
Yes, she talked about that. I'm hoping to see that in the coming years, thankfully.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Really cool. Can you guys give a little, president, madam president, vice president, of like what DECA officers do? I feel like a lot of people don't know, and maybe just enlighten them on some of the things we do from the year to year.
I mean, yeah, like basic level stuff I do is just like I make meeting agendas, and so every week we have an officer team meeting where the officers get together to like kind of plan the lunch meetings we're going to do and like events we're hosting. And so we're not just like a club that like plans lunch meetings. We're at a club that plans we have to run football games and sell merchant football games and volleyball games and basketball games, as well as like when 8th graders come in during that night, and we're selling merchandise on that night and like drinks. And then like when 8th grade CTA fly up day is, like we're just running like all of that. We're not just a club, we're a co-curricular club that runs like these like student-based enterprises that like function and make tens of thousands of dollars every year. And so it's me just kind of like showing commitment and like what I want commitment to come from the club by like showing up to the stores every morning, like helping them run it and training. And there's just a lot more than I think people think, and I think it's pretty awesome to share that with people.
Yeah, and also being an officer is just like being kind of the face of DECA. Like coming from such a small club, we were the people who were representing what is DECA in the beginning of the year especially. And so just throughout the year, like as an officer, I've been able to just kind of mentor students and really just teach them like what are role plays, what are manuals, walk them through it, give them advice, be their judge, and just be someone who is approachable and who the students and the members of the club can come talk to, ask questions. And it's really, I love DECA because it's very student-based. It's very student-focused. Caden runs the social media. He does an amazing job. We pretty much, like Iris said, plan all of our meetings. And yeah, we really get this great opportunity to be leaders and kind of follow our passions while mentoring and encouraging other students. So yeah.
I want to shout out the stores because I feel like a lot of people maybe don't realize this. Just to touch on, you can touch on a little further. Students design all the merchandise in the student stores. Yes. Students fully run and open the stores in the mornings. We have organic and local ingredients in our Java Bear, and we're like legit. Can you touch a little more on that?
Real.
Yeah, I mean, really, they are true, fully fledged, running, successful businesses that are student ran. As an advisor, my job is really just like oversee what you guys are doing, but I will not be the one working. I won't be doing the creating all these different things. So I think it's really cool that we get to see students starting with like creating designs and what they want to put in the stores, and then other students voting on what's going to go in the stores, and then you guys fully run it. You do all the cash handling, you connect with community members, staff members, students. You are handling all the exchanges that way, doing like end of period summaries, which are like, now just like how we track the finances within the stores. And it's really you guys, like you're committed. You are showing up to football games, to volleyball games, after school all the time on your own time to run this business. And it's really cool.
Yeah, fully agreed. Well, Ms. Whitworth, you're one of the very younger teachers here, you, Quinn Claire, Mrs. Daglish, which means, in turn, you have had some of the teachers that we have had, which is pretty unbelievable. We made a small list, Hutter, Baker, Friesen, and Nye, who are all still here? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice here in a way.
Pseudo here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I had Nye freshman year for
U.S. history. Yeah.
And you also had that same class.
Yeah, I feel like I was trying to think about it after we were talking about it this morning, and I feel like the list is even longer, and unfortunately I left my notebook, but there's even a lot of teachers who I didn't have their classes because I was also a very DECA business-focused student, so I was kind of like Iris, who lived in the business classroom. Yeah. That was me. But you still have to go to other classes, and there was, other ones that I enjoyed, but yeah, I have had a lot of the teachers that are still here, which is really cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, have you had any of those four?
Yes, I've had, Miss Nye, like she said, and I'm pretty close to Mr. Hutter. I've never had him as a teacher, but yeah, did you have him as a teacher?
Yeah, I had him for 2 years. So
because he's principal now.
Vice president. No, he is vice principal now. So yeah, you probably haven't had him as like a regular teacher, but he is a fabulous teacher and one of my favorites. He taught chemistry. So like my sophomore year, I took regular chemistry, and then I had him for ESS my junior year. He's lovely. I feel like he's super engaging. I think that hopefully still comes across as him being a vice principal. I think he's still out there connecting with the students a lot, but the way he taught was engaging. You could understand it, and he definitely is just like a caring individual that brings excitement into the classroom. Like I think the first day of chemistry class, like sometimes it's kind of boring, or like the first week, right? You're like learning these safety things because you're handling these chemicals. But I think he like went and like did the eye wash station, and then like the station where it's like water shower. I think like fully.
Oh, he like totally.
I feel like he like.
I can imagine.
It just like dunked him.
That's so funny.
I don't think I've
true
ever seen one of those
commitment.
functioning. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one of those functioning like in the real.
Me neither.
Even with Claire, he's like, it's over there.
Oh yeah, it's in the corner.
It's in the corner.
Go get it if you need.
Yeah, that was Mr. Hutter's classroom.
Mr. Claire's classroom.
Mr.
Hey.
Claire's classroom now. Yeah.
Well, shout out. I'd Baker. You're Baker right
We
now
have Baker
too.
right now.
I
Yeah.
had Baker too.
Baker.
Yeah.
Shout out Baker. I want to know this year. He is a wanderer. Was he a wanderer in your time? Because I swear, like
I
Goes out in the whole
haven't
concert
experienced. I feel like he's been pretty locked in.
I
our
swear,
classes,
like
but-
he always like goes out and like when I'm walking around the halls, I always see him walking around, hitting up
Me
halls,
too,
hitting
me
up
too.
True.
the office, the gym, whatever it is. Was he wandering back in your day? Or was this a new thing?
You know, I don't know. Not that I feel like I don't recall being like, oh my gosh, Mr. Baker's wondering. But maybe it has to do specifically this year with him being out in the mods, right? Like
yeah, he wants to get out of there.
Feeling
You
like
know-
isolated. I feel like I would feel isolated. I feel really lonely.
Yeah,
if
I
was out
feel like
there.
he likes to connect with like the staff and students around, so that maybe is part of it. Because he was definitely always like outside of his classroom. He was in C Hall, so like outside of his classroom, connecting with the teachers that way. So I guess not that I recall, but I would maybe assume that might be why.
When you were here, was he still in that classroom, like the super tall ceiling?
Massive.
Yes.
Yes.
I missed that. I've never had him in that classroom, and it's so sad because I had my first year. It's like I have him this year, and he's in the mods, and it's just
Yeah.
not the same with all like the different,
Hall.
all the jerseys in them, and like everyone
Jerseys.
freezing.
The pineapple?
A pineapple. The
Hanging
floating.
pineapple.
Yes.
Yeah. He had like the biggest classroom to
It was
maybe the
cold.
smallest.
I remember
The smallest.
Yeah, that's really sad.
I can't. And also, let's be honest. Too big of a guy to be in the mods.
Yeah.
no,
I'm only
I-
6'2", and I feel cramped being in there.
I feel like he's gonna hit
Only
his head one time.
6'2".
Gosh, thank you, Kyla.
Jaden.
No, that's crazy. Well, this is something throughout this podcast and talking to the different teaching students, you learn a lot of things, and people just like to like drop in. Oh, I did this. Mr. Gilsdorf is like, oh yeah, I was in commercials and got paid to be in a theater and whatever. And this, I'm like, okay. A lot of people probably don't know roller derby. Can we
So
touch
cool.
on
Roller
this?
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Breakfast.
That is not my name, but anyways. Yeah, so roller derby has honestly been like a massive part of my life. I think I started when I was in like the 4th or 5th grade, so very, very young. I think I was like 10 years old. Yeah, so I skated locally as a junior for probably about 8 years, I guess, so like 10 to 18. So all throughout my high school years. And then kind of after that, I just now skate for like a league, in the same league in town, but on our adult team. What's really cool, and I think what people don't realize about sports leagues, not even just roller derby, but like other sports leagues, is like we are a certified nonprofit, and we are, we have a board of directors. I'm the president at the moment. So
cool.
we are like, we just had a home game a couple weeks ago, and it's essentially a big event, right? You're having hundreds of people come in to watch this event that you're putting on. You have to organize marketing, refs, the finances of it. So I think I get a lot of like business focus from it that way too, but it's also just a ton of fun. I think the community that you build is really, really strong. So yeah, I skate for a team here, and I also skate for a team called Team Oregon that is just composed of like a few different skaters from each league all throughout the state of Oregon.
Also, can you even just explain what I feel like a lot of people have a base level knowledge of roller derby? You roll, but like maybe a little more. Like, can you break down the sport like briefly?
Yeah. So
What do you do?
If I were to like describe it as quickly as possible or just like concisely, I think first, it is a full contact sport, but I think where people get mixed up is maybe how it's been portrayed in different like films or movies.
Yeah, that's what I know
being
from.
like, I don't know. We have a lot of rules and regulations. There's something called a renegade league, which is probably what you would see on like a movie, like kind of no rules, maybe even like fist fights. That does not happen at all in our league.
What? I don't know. I've
No.
seen some scars on you.
Could you imagine
I've
Mr.
only
Whitworth
really
fighting?
no.
No.
I would not win.
Least confrontational person ever.
But it is a full contact sport, and to what Iris is saying, I've only really, so I've played since I was like 10, so a long time, and I think I've only truly been injured once or twice, like, so really not a ton. But back to like explaining what it is. Sorry for my tangent. Essentially, you have 4 skaters on the track at all times unless they have gotten a penalty. So traditionally, you have 4 skaters who are what you call blockers from each team, and then 1 skater from each team who is what you call a jammer. And the overall goal is for that jammer to get through the opposing blockers and just lap them as many times as possible, because that is how you collect points. So we have a track, the jammer is trying to get through the opposing team to collect points, and obviously the opposing team is doing whatever they can to not let that jammer through. And
Are you a blocker or are you a jammer?
I'm actually something that we call a pivot.
Okay.
So
Neither.
a pivot is someone who is typically a blocker. So I am typically a blocker. But we have like helmet covers, and so that's how you can tell who the jammer is. Theirs has a star, and a pivot has a stripe. And throughout the jam, which is like what our plays are, the jammer could take off their helmet cover and pass it to the pivot, and the pivot would then become the jammer.
Oh, so you're like you're the passer offer. Like if they need to switch things up and like get ahead and like psych them out.
So it just depends. Like maybe your jammer's just not getting through, and it's just not working. So you pass it, and then you can kind of move on. So traditionally, I'm much more of a blocker. That's where I prefer to be. But it's fun to mix it up and kind of do something different every once in a while.
Yeah, the only time I think I've seen roller derby portrayed in film was Lego Ninjago, and there was a lot of fire and ice and earth,
Lego
so this
Ninjago,
kind of
yes.
cleared things up.
I don't know that I watched that movie. I
it's a
didn't
good
even
movie.
realize there was derby in this movie.
Oh yeah, there was derby,
I'm
all
gonna
right. I'll
have
have
to
to find
watch
the
it.
I'll have to find the clips
Yeah,
and send it
it's
to you.
So funny.
That's hilarious. Well, Miss Whitworth, I always like to ask, do you have questions? Well, no, actually, hold on. Before I get to that, I want to ask, business focus, are you two also studying business? This is something we talked about last episode.
Yeah, I am. So I'm committed to Oregon, to U of O since like December, January time. I'm really excited. So Mrs. Whitworth I've kind of known her for years now because she's my cousin's best friend. And so I have two twin cousins, Hannah and Emily. And Hannah kind of did the same thing I did, is she was here several years ago.
We graduated that old. Thank you, Iris.
Not that
So
old.
many
not
years
that
ago.
old. They're 23,
Iris.
so they're not that old. But she did DECA for 4 years, president 2 years, graduated, and then did business at U of O. And so I kind of just like followed her footsteps a little bit, like everyone says. But I just love business and I love the community, and like I like looked up to Hannah, and it was like really, it's like a mentor, and I loved it, and it was really cool to see that. And I'm like, I want to do that, and I found passion in it, and it was a lot of fun. And so I'm going to Eugene, do the same things. Hopefully find some cool people and make new experiences.
Cool.
That's how. Oh, sorry, Kyla, to cut you off.
Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, like Iris was saying, her cousin Hannah, that's how we met, was through DECA.
Nice.
And I think that's another, like, sorry to keep harping on why DECA is so great, but maybe that's my whole job.
Not sorry.
Just like building such like long-lasting friendships. That's where we became friends, and we've been like really, really strong friends ever since. And I've got to know Iris since she had very long hair. You and her as well, since you were a little kid. But yeah, fun fact, Hannah actually married Parker and I at our wedding.
Whoa,
Yeah.
it's all connected.
Yes,
It's
DECA
very
is where
connected.
it starts.
Yeah.
Your life starts with DECA.
It starts now.
Don't do it
That could be the one.
DECA. Yes. Okay, I'm very separate from this whole scene of I am also committed to the University of Oregon, but I'm taking a gap year next year.
Yes.
So I kind of I plan to study business as well, direct business admit, and I want to do international business and hopefully environmental studies. So I'm not super clear on my path right now, but I've kind of like going into high school like with this idea of leadership, and I've always wanted to be a leader, and I've always enjoyed leadership positions and being creative and kind of just helping the world. And I'm like, business is a great idea because you have so much leeway and you have a lot of resources and power. And just being a DECA officer, I've seen like what it's like to run events and seeing just like the ability that people have when they put their minds together. So I'm like, business is just super cool that way, and I feel like there's so many things that I can do with that in the environmental sector especially. So yeah, I'm hoping to kind of build my creative, fun hobby businesses over my gap year and maybe learn a bit and do some internships. But yeah, I'm excited to do that and try to explore more what specifically in business I want to do, because there's a lot.
Yeah, I'm
A wide range.
scary. I'm a little
Yeah.
scared. I'm like, oh, do I want to do finance? Do I want to do marketing? It's all-
Yeah.
I think you'll just
Scary.
kind of find your way, you know.
Honestly,
Things-
yeah, I'm ready
it's
for
really
that.
interesting, like how different events and different things that just happen in your life just lead you down this path to like the area that you're supposed to go.
Totally. Ms. Whitworth, do you have questions for us?
Yeah,
As
I have a few, but
Please.
first I think I know you're our host, but why don't we hear from you what you are doing next year?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Doing 2 years at COCC, mainly for, scholarship and saving money purposes and working my job.
That's a good call.
Right. I'm thinking so. And then I want to do 2 years at a much larger college. I'm not sure where, maybe East Coast, New York, U of O. I'm not sure. And definitely study business as well. And I'm also not sure. I'm thinking business administration or marketing type deal, but who knows? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I think I have like 3 questions for you. I
So
wrote them
ready.
down earlier and then I left my notebook. But that's okay.
Fumble. It's okay.
So something that we touched on earlier, that I told you is like my pet peeve is that students want to go study business, which is amazing, but they never want to take classes in high school. Coming from a student's perspective, all of you being graduating seniors, like why do you think that is? If students feel that they're going to study business, why do you think that they don't explore that path sooner?
I think it's hard because there's so many amazing classes at Bentai, and everyone's like, I want to do culinary, I want to do cooking, I want to do like woodworking, like there's all these like things, and then like I think once they try to like switch to the mindset of like my future, my career, and not that those things don't apply to that, but I think they think of more like traditional like business pathways, and I think that like sometimes you don't like think about that like as a freshman. That's not very common for like my 14-year-old self was like, I'm going to take business classes all 4 years every semester. That's not a really common path, I don't think. And so I think that people just start to realize that like later in their lives and they just don't have the time to take it.
I think, unfortunately, a business major has maybe developed this rap over the past time of like, that's kind of the fallback major. It's like, if that doesn't work out, I'll go to business. Or like, also it's gotten a rap of being the easiest major. And I'm not saying that it's the hardest major by any means, but I think unfortunately it's developed that rap and everyone's like, oh, well, I'll just do a business major because, that's good. And I do believe it's good because every field you're going to encounter business. So it is valuable. And I do believe that. I just wish there's also a little more passion behind that decision and wanting to take the classes. And even so, if you're going to major in it, it's nice to just get a sense because then you'll know, hey, actually, I don't want to do this, or actually, I really do want to do this.
Yeah.
So like do those stepping stones beforehand.
Mm-hmm. And maybe students don't realize DECA is seen as the super fun club, but they think it's super time consuming, and it's like you can put in as much effort as you want. And like Caden said, like just getting your foot in the door a little bit to learn about it is a great way to start. And I don't know if there's like like a bunch of appeal to the business classes themselves and the curriculum. So maybe if students just knew more about them, I think we've been doing a great job the past few years with like the CTE fly-up day and the 8th grade fly-up day just to show like what's actually offered in the classes. But yeah, it's really interesting. I've heard a lot of seniors this year that are like, I wish I did DECA. And I'm like, yes, it just breaks my heart. I'm like, we would have loved for you to be in DECA. But
Sad.
it's okay. There's other opportunities out there. But if you're a freshman or underclassman, please take your opportunity now.
Do it.
Yeah, you still have a chance. Okay, my other questions for you. I have 2 more. My next one is around like school spirit and assemblies.
Ooh.
I feel like when I was a student, the school spirit was so high, and not to say that it's not now, but I just feel like around assemblies, even sometimes like football games, I think we have a ton of school spirit at a volleyball game. Like we are there, you show up. But where are you at the assemblies and the football games? Where is the school spirit? You only are here for 4 years, so why are we not putting in all the school spirit?
I was a big like, I'm going to go to everything I can, and I did. And like, I feel like it was like so hard for me to like convince my friends of that. I'm like, like, why is this like so hard for me to like drag you to these events? I'm like, this is fun. This is engaging, like part of like a high school experience. And like, yes, it'll be cold. Yes, it's Bend, Oregon. Wear a jacket, wear a hat, but it'll be fun. So
I feel like it really is set by like the seniors and like the upperclassmen. And when we were freshmen, our class was like, we had Ocean. I don't know if you guys remember Ocean.
Yes.
He was a great spirit
Spunky
coordinator
little
person.
ginger.
Yeah, and then after that, I feel like our spirit people haven't been as strong. And maybe it was COVID, because honestly, we came in during COVID, and like that class was the last class that like actually probably came back to school in high school, and they had all this energy and were probably really excited to be back. And then we came out of like middle school with COVID, and I don't know. I feel like it's just our generations right now. It's interesting. I wish there was more spirit, though. I see the lack.
Like it's like
Yeah.
too uncool or something. Like if there's this weird like energy around it where it's like I'm not gonna put myself out there unless like someone who's really cool and like influential is gonna do that. And then I feel like that doesn't happen, and like then no one goes.
That was definitely me in my earlier years. I feel like it's gotten exponential. Like initially I was like, I'm not gonna go to anything, I'm too lame, whatever. But then every year further, it's like I want to do more and more, show up to more things. And I think it just maybe comes with growing with the school and growing up and becoming more like confident in yourself and being like, I can be seen at an assembly and that's not super embarrassing anymore. You know, that type of deal. So, and I totally agree. I was talking with Taj about this of like, when you see those upperclassmen really getting into it, really getting hype at the foot. Like imagine if you go to a football game, you see Taj sitting on the bleacher, just like that's lame. That's lame. When you see your fellow students and the students in leadership positions really being up there and excited, that really gets you excited to be there. So I don't know, but I agree. I think it's lackluster and I don't really know how to fix it.
I feel like also assemblies, I think sometimes parents, like, I think you should put something with Josie, but I think probably Josie gets about 30 calls of, my kid needs to leave sick at 11, and the assembly's at 11:15. I think there might be a little bit of that. There's a little bit of enabling, because, like, how many kids actually have
an appointment on
assembly day? So, I mean, that's a little bit of it, I think, and, like, the enabling of that. So, it just depends.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Alrighty, my last question for you. I feel like getting to have you guys in class, and especially you two this spring, listening to you talk about Senior Assassin and this like tradition that you're bringing on. I think it's been fun to watch you guys bring in this maybe hopefully new like school tradition that is really like, I think you've brought together the seniors in some sense. Like you're all like kind of doing this fun thing and everyone's invested. And so my question to you is there any other like school traditions that you maybe know that we've had in the past that you want to come back, or just new ones that you want to like bring to Bend High or that you would hope to see happen at Bend High?
I've been thinking about this a lot because
I
I've
know what
heard
you're
like
gonna say.
senior campouts. I've heard this is like an unofficial.
Not where I thought we were going.
Like I think there was one last year maybe, and like someone's had one where they like go to like they just like go camp out with the whole senior class and like.
Is this not a thing anymore?
Safely, yeah. I mean, it's
not too late.
It's unofficial school.
This is plannable.
I think normally I think Summits is tomorrow night or like Friday night, but
Wow.
yeah, I think it'll be cool. But Senior Assassin, I feel like definitely Caden has dominated that and led that, and it takes a lot of patience, I think, more than I thought. It feels
Unbelievable amount.
It feels kind of like a business within itself. Like you're running a social media account, you're running money. Like Caden's like has a whole like Google sheet that you would kind of like gawk at if you looked at it. You'd be like, oh my god, this is crazy.
Very proud of that
You
Google
guys are
sheet.
doing amazing.
You should be. I mean, yeah,
amazing.
it's about like people skills, right? Like having to deal with these people and like they have like the app and like there's just so many components of it that you have to like make sure you're a manager. We're managers.
Totally.
So this, and you have to like figure out and like make sure everyone's happy and everyone's gonna be happy. And it's great skills though. And it definitely tests our patience a little bit.
PSA to whoever's running next year. You're going to get dozens of messages a day. You're going to get people asking the same questions every single day that have been answered 100 times.
Yep.
Every time you walk in the school building, hey, Caden, is this okay? Is this okay? Can I do this? Is this fine? Yep. No. Yep. And it's, but it's fun.
Great skills.
It's still fun at the end of the day, and I'm happy you're doing it. And, you know, someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
And
So-
I'm still in,
Thank you
so
guys.
I have a
Thank you
chance.
Be the
guys
one
for
to take it
taking-
on.
Yeah, for taking that on.
Of course.
Because it is a really fun, like, tradition.
And
like,
thank you, everyone, who participated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
For
still is.
sure.
And that was my biggest thing with this was like, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I got a bit of it's like some people I talked to many times about this, right? And like sometimes I go up to someone's like, have you heard of Senior Assassin? Like, oh, and I'm like, oh, I've definitely talked to you like 3 times already. But it was with reason. I like Cooper says the same thing about sports. I'm like, I didn't want us to get to the end of the year and someone be like, I so wish I did Senior Assassin. I missed out. So I tried to talk to everyone as possible, and it's happened with a couple people, right? And they're like, is it too late? I'm like, I'm so sorry. It is too late. I really, really tried. But I
guys
think
did
we
a
got
good job,
majority of the people, and so I'm really happy about that. And I think it's going well for the most part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And it's been really fun. And just like connecting with seniors that you don't usually see. Because like being in the
Yeah.
IB world, it's like, oh, I've seen my same people for
Yeah.
a while. So it's fun. But
It gets you out there.
To go back to your question though, sophomore year, we had this awesome dance in the courtyard called Spring Fling.
Oh my god,
Were
I
you
went to
there?
that. That was crazy.
Yes.
That was exclusive.
See, anyone
Who DJ'd it again?
it was a student.
What's their name? What's their name?
it
They like went to
starts with
somewhere
an M.
big too. I don't know, but it
feel
was
so
like
bad. It was
this
like meet
really
and the cat. I
like
don't
it
know.
was like imagine like the cheerleading dance this year actually happened, Oh my god. The Bermuda, that would have been it. Because there was maybe
It was so
sub 30
fun.
kids there.
But
Like,
everyone was dancing and
20 kids,
like
30 kids.
like no one was wallflowering. We were all out in the courtyard.
Yeah.
It was super fun. Quincy got on the speakers, actually broke the speakers because he was dancing so hard.
Oh my gosh.
It was so
Twerking
fun.
it to K-pop, for sure.
The janitor in the window was dancing. So I feel like we
that
need
was
more.
cool, that was cool.
We need more of these like casual dances that are just fun ways for students to get together and meet people that they don't usually meet, have a good time, phones away. I love the
I miss that
opportunities that we
courtyard
have
so
without
much.
phones because it's
Yeah.
so much fun
Yeah.
when you get to connect with people genuinely.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, other big Ben High tradition, the BSH pageant. I think we'll keep that legacy growing. But did you have that around when you were here?
Yeah, so we had the
Mr.
pageant.
BSH.
It was just called Mr.
right,
BSH.
right.
I think we've evolved, and I think for good reason. But I think there's the same excitement around it. I think it's all for a great cause. It's fun to come watch, and I don't ever foresee that going away. So
Yeah.
Okay. Well, our final segment here, we're going to run through some quick questions that the students have submitted to you. It's hot seat time, Miss Whitworth. All right. So starting off, Eden Chen asks, have you actually DJ'd before? DJ Whitworth. DJ'd. I know, a little on the nose.
what a question. I have been asked a lot. No, but I feel like maybe it's a missed opportunity. Like
Maybe you
maybe
should.
I should be
DJ
in the
the
name.
DJ.
I should be the new DJ for school
Nice.
dances.
Yeah.
Or
DJ.
the DJ.
However,
Yeah.
I don't think it's as easy as it seems. I don't know that I would be that great at it, if I'm honest.
Insightful. Okay. Sierra asks, what inspired you to be a business teacher? Simply put.
I think it was my business teacher. So my business teacher, we called her T. And like I said earlier, I just was in the business classroom all the time. I think coming into high school, like the change they had from freshman year to senior year was kind of massive, as it is for a lot of people. But like I would say I was a person that was like scared to go like order food at a restaurant. Like that's how little I liked public speaking, and just was like I think very introverted. And I think that the business program and DECA like really helped me grow in that area, and I just really fell in love with this. And my advisor was just incredibly supportive. I spent a time with her, and she still heavily supports me. She's actually, I think, I would account how I got my job to her. At ICDC, it must have been 3 years ago now. It was when the last teacher gave notice that she was leaving, and my old advisor, Tia, had taken those students to internationals with the teacher over at Caldera, Mrs. Tucker, and they sent me a text message one day and was like, this job is opening, you should apply. And I was just like, that's crazy. I don't even know that was an option for me because I didn't go a traditional route in getting my teaching license. But for CTE teachers, you can go kind of an untraditional route. You still have to do schooling, but you can also use your like experience within certain industries to account for part of your license. And so I didn't think it was an option for me. And they just were like, it is, like, you should do it. And then I just jumped in. I did it. I interviewed, and now I'm here.
Yay.
Nice.
We're so grateful.
That's amazing. Okay, so we asked where to get your clothes, which I think is amazing because you have amazing taste in clothes.
Yeah, it's very cute stuff.
Oh, thanks. I would say majority, kind of twofold. Most of my clothes, I think I probably purchase from Free People. Like if I were to pick one brand that I like continually go back to. But I think I probably talked about this with some of you before, but my new thing is Nuuly. I don't know who has heard of it, but I would find myself spending too much money on clothing, or just like, I don't know, over purchasing maybe. So essentially, not to be like an ad for Nuuly, but it's like a clothing subscription company. So you like subscribe, you pick out your items for the month, they send them to you, you send them back, and they get like industrially washed, and then you pick new ones. So that's like my tip there.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so I don't know if you're a big investor, but Cannon asked, what do you suggest investing in?
Ooh.
Oh, that's kind of like a big question, I guess. And
Yeah, it's
not
like a
to
big
give you
category to, like,
financial advice.
Get into the stock market game there.
I think it heavily depends on like where you're starting, the amount of funds that you want to put into it, right? Is it, what's really cool about if you're starting to talk about this within your high school years is you can really start small and start investing in like small things and just let it sit and let it grow. So I personally would say, unless you are like a little bit more invested in the stock market or want to follow it, I would not suggest just throwing your money at random things in the stock market without doing your research. But maybe you're going to like put your money into some sort of like high yield savings account or like a mutual fund, something that's going to grow your money.
There you go.
Yes. Now we have some kind of funny questions.
Okay.
From Jude. heavy cotton towels or not?
Random.
I don't know that I know what this means. You mean like a shower, like
Like a
I don't know.
Like
heavy cotton towels or not?
I don't-
Well, I guess with the context that I have, we're gonna go heavy cotton towels. I mean, I don't know that I want like
I feel like it's
a flimsy towel,
a flimsy cotton towel?
a thin
I feel
towel.
like, yeah, and
like,
then it's dry,
quality.
so I mean, it's just gonna like dry up. I feel like the difference is like if you're gonna be somewhere humid, like a heavy cotton towel would like just stay wet for longer.
I don't even
Ew.
know that I
know if
truly
that's true.
understand the difference, but like
quality towels.
okay,
Yeah, okay.
love it.
Okay, and last one from Kai Delakia. What is your go-to Dutch order?
Ooh.
Oh, my go-to Dutch order.
That's awesome.
I guess I have like a mix. Like if we're gonna order coffee or if we're going
don't know.
not.
If you're going right
What's
now.
the cowboy one called? The rebel you get.
It's called a Cowboy Sunset. I don't purchase that. I feel like that often.
Okay.
It's
Definitely been a few times.
more
though.
maybe like once or twice. If I go and I want a Rebel, which is sometimes, that's something that like Morgan will suggest. She's my sister-in-law who works at Dutch Bros. She also chaperoned for us. But if I were to order something fruity, like if I want something fruity, it's probably going to be a double blended marmalade Rebel. And then if I want more of coffee, probably like something really boring, like if it's from Dutch, like an iced vanilla latte, I don't know, with oat milk. I think that, hot take, maybe their coffee's not as good as a lot of other coffee places.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not as good as the Java Bear.
Java Bear shout out.
Sadly, the espresso machine's broken for the rest of the year. So
Oh,
come back next year to
Come
get
back next
coffee.
year.
It'll be fixed.
Yep.
Okay, well, Mrs. Whitworth, I have the final question that we ask every teacher and faculty. It is, simply put, if you could give one piece of advice to the graduating class of 2025, what would it be?
Don't be scared of taking opportunities. I think we started to touch on this earlier when you were talking about how you don't know where you want to go within the business world. And I just feel like so heavily that like everything happens for a reason. When I think about like how I ended up teaching business, it's just like this long story that I won't bore you with. But essentially, like when I graduated high school, I was not originally planning on studying anything in the realm of education. I was planning on studying business. And then at a concert, I saw the president of DECA from my freshman year. And she was
Whoa.
like, do you need a job this summer? And I was like, yes. As
Yes.
someone going into college, I do need a job this summer. And so I started working with her at like, we used to have a YMCA. We don't have one anymore. We did. Yeah, it was right next to Jewel Elementary. But like how this like whole story tumbles ends up to like how I'm here. And right now I just couldn't picture myself doing any other job. Like I truly love my job so much. And so I would just say like embrace the opportunities and don't be scared of what's coming to you.
Well, that's amazing. So, without further ado, I'm going to say thank you for tuning in to the BSH Brief. Huge shout out to Miss Whitworth for sharing their story and to our student guests for holding it down. Catch us next week with a new episode, new guests, and the same Lava Bear energy. Until next time, stay loud, stay proud, and stay brief bend high. That's a wrap, everybody. Good job.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Gotta get home.
I want it.
Nice work, guys.